What's up, you guys, and welcome back. Today's video is going to be this creepy doll tutorial. Let's go ahead and jump into the video without any further ado. The first thing I'm going to do, of course, is prime my face. We need something for all of that makeup to stick to. So I'm taking Pores No More by Dr. Brandt. We're just going to put this all over the face just so we have a nice even base on our complexion. We're going to start with the eyes. So I'm going to take my soft ochre paint pot from MAC. This is just what I'm using as my eyeshadow base. And then I'm going to go in with Flamingo from the Huda Beauty Rose Gold palette. I thought this palette was perfect because even though we are going to be creepy and bloody eventually, we will get to that part, but I still wanted kind of a girly eyeshadow look. So even though we're scary and gory, we still want a little bit of glam on the eyes. So we're going in with Flamingo. It's just this very, it's a very bright pink matte. I'm taking that with my Sigma E40 brush. I'm just buffing that in my crease as my transition shade. For the lid, I'm going to take the NYX Glitter Glue and then also the NYX Glitter and Ice. For whatever reason, I was feeling very inspired with glitter, so I really wanted to incorporate glitter into this look just to kind of bring like a girly element into the creepy factor. This is a firm shader brush from Sigma, so I'm just going to use this to apply my glitter. I'm applying it right over the glitter glue. I'm kind of extending my lid. So I took the glue and I laid it a little bit higher than I typically would, and I'm kind of trying to round out my eyes so it looks more doll-like. So I'm taking it up actually into the transition higher than I typically would lay down a lid color. Also making it look a little more round so my eyes are more rounded and doll-like looking. I wanted a little more depth to the eyeshadow look, so I'm just taking Maneater. This is with a more firm blending brush. This is also from Sigma. And I'm just going right above the glitter. I kind of felt like we needed just a little bit of a deeper pink to it, just to kind of really bring the entire look together. For the brow bone highlight, I'm going to be taking this color right here. This is the Inglot shadow in number 35. It's just this very icy white color. Then we're going to do a little liner with the NYC Liquid Liner. I didn't do a wing or anything. I just did a basic line across the eyelid. As for lashes, I don't know what these are. I got them at the beauty supply quite a long time ago. I would try maybe the Salon Perfect 615s because they're very separated and wispy. You want something very doll-like, and those are perfect. Next, we're going to take the Mehron Clown White and the Wet n Wild PhotoFocus foundation. I am going to mix a pretty even portion of these two together because I don't want to be white, but I do want to have a very fair appearance just because, like I said for the millionth time, we are trying to recreate a doll-like look. So we want that type of like porcelain looking skin. We're going to go ahead and do some highlighting and concealing. This is with the Maybelline Master Conceal in the shade Light. And I also mixed a little bit of the Clown White in with that, just so it's a little bit lighter since our foundation is so fair. So I'm just going to go under the eyes. I'm taking my little cosmetic sponge from Target. You can get a pack for like $1 or $2. I'm going to go down the center of the nose and onto the chin. To bake and set everything into place, I'm going to take the Mehron Neutral Setting Powder. I'm going to bake in the places where I laid down the concealer, and then for the rest of the face, I'm just going to lightly tap on some powder. I didn't want anything too heavy on the rest of my face, just where I get really creasy, which is wherever I have concealer. And there I am dancing, just ignore me, I'm getting down over here clearly. After a couple of minutes, I'm going to go ahead and just dust everything away. I didn't want the powder to sit onto the skin for too long. And then moving on to the brows, I'm going to take my Maybelline Blackest Black Gel Liner. I want my brows to be very animated. I wanted them to be very harsh and stark looking, pretty much like they're painted on, just like you would see on one of those porcelain dolls. So I'm going on pretty heavy with the brow. I'm just taking a little angled brow brush. I believe this one is Anastasia. And then to create the illusion that we have a bigger, rounder eye shape, I'm going to take the NYX Jumbo Pencil. This is in the shade Milk. And I'm going right underneath my under eyes. And I'm just kind of rounding it out to make my pupil look a lot bigger than what it is. And I'm going to set that in place with the Mehron white setting powder, just so it doesn't budge whatsoever. And then I'm going to go back in with my Maybelline gel liner, and I'm going to create a new lower lash line. So I'm just taking this and I'm carving out the shape of the lower lash line. I'm taking those pink shadows from the Huda Beauty palette that I used in my crease, and I'm just shading the underneath of that new line that I created. And then I'm going to take another pair of lashes. These are also from the beauty supply, so I have no idea what they are. I actually wish that I placed them a little more towards the right, so I just took a liquid liner and drew on lashes in the open space. And then I'm taking this Inglot shaping powder. I don't know where it is, so I don't know the exact shade, but when I find it, I will list it in the description box below. But the reason I took this is because it's a very ashy cool tone contour, and I wanted something very cool tone since the complexion is so fair. So I'm just contouring how I typically would contour, but I'm taking it up underneath the apple of my cheeks. So a trick to doing this is you can give a very exaggerated smile, and you're just going to take your contour and round out underneath your cheeks where the apple of your cheeks stand out. This is going to make the cheekbones more prominent. It's going to give more of that doll-like effect. And I'm also taking this around my chin just to hollow out my chin so my chin stands out a little more as well. I'm going to take Flamingo with my MAC blush brush, and I'm putting this literally just on the center of the apple of my cheeks. I'm just kind of circling it just so it looks more doll-like. And then I just went in with a little bit of baking powder. It looked a little messy to me, so I took that same Mehron powder. I'm just shaping out the contour. I wanted it to be a little more clean and a little more prominent, so I'm baking underneath to clean it up. I took my little blending brush from Sigma, and I'm kind of intensifying the contour. I wanted it to stand out a little bit more than what it was. And then once you wipe all that powder away, you just have a very clean, defined line. And then I'm taking my NYX Liquid Liner, or this might be the NYC, I honestly don't remember. But I'm taking my liquid liner and I'm painting on some fake freckles right over the blush. And then I'm taking this liquid lipstick from Cougar Beauty. This is in the shade Mulberry. It's just a very beautiful berry color. So of course I wanted to stay in the pink family. And I'm making my lips look very small. So I'm just kind of shortening them and rounding them out at the top and at the bottom. And then we're going to start with the fun part. We're going to start creating that ugly gash on the mouth. So I took my liquid latex and I took a little makeup spatula, and I'm doing the same thing as I did in my last video. I'm just laying out exactly where I want the wound to be, and then I'm going to lay down a piece of tissue, give it a second to dry a little, go back over with latex, and then lay one more layer of tissue and then one more layer of latex right on top of that. You can honestly do as many layers of tissue as you want. I just felt like 2 was enough for me, and you just have to play with it and make it your own. Just remember to take your time and be very patient with this because the latex gets very sticky after a while. It's kind of like lash glue. Just be very patient, take your time, and I promise it will be perfect in the end. To highlight, I'm taking the Anastasia and Nicole Glow. I'm taking the shade Forever Lit because, again, it's that very icy, bright highlight shade. And I'm just highlighting normally where I would highlight. And then I took my Maybelline gel liner. I'm going to use this as a lip liner, so I'm just outlining right around the lip color just so my lips stand out a little more. Now that the latex is nice and dry, I'm going to go over that with my foundation concoction just so it blends a little better into my skin. And then I'm going to go ahead and take a pair of scissors. Be very careful when you're doing this. These are very dull scissors. They almost literally didn't cut. That's how dull they were, but I'm very accident prone and I know how easy it is to hurt myself. So I just worked to cut them open, and I just opened the latex to the desired opening that I wanted. Then I'm going to take my gel liner and just color the part of my skin on the inside of the latex that's showing. And I'm going to go in with this really bright red shade from the NYX Fire palette. I did this in my last video, and I love the way that it turned out because it really made the skin look very infected and more realistic looking in my opinion. So I'm just shading the latex right around the cut, and then I'm going to go in with this burgundy shade and I'm going to go right on top of that. And it's just going to help to add a little more dimension and make the skin look more realistic looking, like it really is actually infected and wounded from being cut. And then we're going to take the Mehron Venous blood. This is a very textured, gooey type of stage blood. So I'm going to go right on top of the latex, and then I'm going to go inside the wound. But the reason that I love this blood is because it's very chunky, which sounds disgusting, but hey, it's Halloween, you guys. We are going all out. So I even took this with my finger just to kind of press it in a little bit more, but also I felt like this helped make it look a little chunkier. And I really wanted to go for like that gross, gooey effect. I love gory Halloween looks, you guys, so I went all in. And then this part I kind of decided to add last minute. I decided I wanted to add some little pieces of thread so it kind of looked like the mouth was stitched and then it got ripped open. I did one side at a time because I didn't want the lash glue to dry too fast before I made it to the other side. So when I did one side of my face, I would lay down the glue exactly where I wanted it to go. And I did that because I wanted the glue to get a little tacky. You'll see on this side of my face, I used tweezers to lay down the thread. It was definitely much more difficult to do that because the thread kept getting stuck in the tweezers and then it would get stuck in the blood, and it was just very hard to work with. So when I get to the other side of my face, you'll see that after I laid down the glue and I gave it a couple of seconds to get a little tacky, I went in with my fingers and I would lay down the thread with my fingers, and then I would flip over the tweezers and push the other end of the thread into place. That was the easiest way to get the thread to lay down and not move, because the little hairs of the thread were just honestly getting everywhere, and this was just the easiest way that I found to do without the thread getting stuck and pulling off. I just threw my hair in some pigtails, and that's it, you guys. That is the end of the video. As always, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate whenever you guys watch my videos and leave me nice comments. It never goes unnoticed. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure that you subscribe before you leave. Leave me your thoughts below, and of course, like the video. And I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, y'all.